it's Kimberly from Sunshine. Welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time visiting, please feel free to like and subscribe. Please press the bell in the corner that will tell you when I put up my next video. Our videos are completely dependent on the life choices that our horses make. I do try to put them up on Tuesdays, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. So today's news. We've got some things about pony playtime. We have some things about groom and ride. Our topic of talk is on breathing, and something a little bit odd today. I feel obligated to discuss what happened in London over the weekend. If you want to skip that part, that is perfectly fine. I will put a timestamp up in the corner up here that will tell you when I move into that section. And it is the opinion based solely on my thoughts and ideas. So let us, therefore, take a deep breath. Let us get a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's find out what's going on. Okay, this week's news. Well, there are a lot of big things going on this week. Number one, tomorrow, or at least I hope I get this up today, dependent on the horses as previously stated in their life choices. Tomorrow is June's birthday! Yay! June is going to be 1 year old tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning. So I will be putting up a special video for her celebrating her first year of life and the joys she's brought us at Sunshine. Our second big piece of news, of course, is that we have reopened to small, and I mean very, very small, group lessons. We will have, in our lessons that have handlers, we will only have 3 riders. In the upper level lessons, we will push out to 4 or 5 riders, but we are keeping it very small. Our riders will be wearing masks, they will be wearing gloves, they will be wiping down the tack. All of these things are really important, and we want to keep you safe and COVID free. So the reason we're having the very, very small groups, of course, is that I'm only allowed 6 handlers on the yard at any one time at the current moment. End of the month, I may be able to have all my handlers back, and that will be lovely. I have missed them so much, but right now we can only have 6 at a time. So, pony playtime. Pony playtime is for 3 to 6 year olds. It is comprised of a grooming session, a small riding lesson, and a hack out. Normally we provide a little tea, I have cake and a juice, but because of COVID, of course, this will be take home. They will have some take home bags, and our program will only allow 3 riders. We're doing pony playtime at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays and again 11 a.m. on Fridays. We do ask that only 1 parent attend. As long as you've ticked the box on the registration form, you can take pictures. Please, I do remind you that all distribution of pictures and copyright of pictures belong to you, and they are your responsibility. For older children, ages 7 and upward, we have the groom and ride, and that is at 10 o'clock on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Again, this is a program that has a full grooming session, and the children will learn to groom, learn the name of the brushes, learn how to actually handle the horse. Then it goes into a full 30-minute riding lesson, followed by a 30 to 45-minute hack out on our local bridleways. So it's a great program for the older child who is ready to learn how to handle a horse. Again, we will only have 3 in those sessions. So if you want to book, please let me know. We are open and ready and waiting. So today's topic of talk, breathing. Breathing. Now, breathing is natural. We all breathe. It's just part and parcel of what we do. It's a natural thing. However, breathing is affected, shall we say, by what society expects out of us, especially young women. The older you get, the stranger your breathing becomes. Most people use what is called clavicular breathing. They breathe using this section of their body. They use the top third of their lungs, which means they're not getting as much air in as possible. The natural form of breathing, which you will see with babies, is called diaphragmatic breathing. And that uses the bottom third of your lungs. And you're drawing air in all the way to the bottom. Clavicular breathing arose from the idea that we must be very, very slim and trim, and we hold the bottom of our lungs in so they don't expand for breathing, because we want to look thin and trim. People who use the bottom part of their lungs are regularly referred to as barrel-chested, and they don't meet the idea of fashion's beauty. It's really important that you do develop diaphragmatic breathing. The reason being is it is a relaxing breathing. We use it in yoga, you use it in Pilates. It's there. It calms you. And as it calms the system, you relax, and therefore your riding relaxes. Clavicular breathing, and goodness me, how many times have I shouted this out? Don't hold your breath. Holding your breath creates tension, and the horse can feel that tension, and they respond to that tension. And a lot of you know they don't respond well to tension. So how can we do diaphragmatic breathing? Well, you start by breathing in through your nose, and you mindfully expand your lower ribs. It's going to take you a while to learn this because you've learned not to do it. You're going to use those muscles, and you're going to expand out your lower ribs. Don't push your tummy out. It will probably happen, but don't be thinking I'm diaphragmatically breathing because my tummy pushes out. That's not, you can clavicular breathe and push your tummy out. You need to expand your lower ribs. You need to use what is called your intercostal muscles. Now, once you've breathed in and you've expanded out, you hold it for 5 seconds. Then slowly, very slowly, in a controlled manner, exhale through a soft, slightly opened mouth. As I said, yes, this is the breathing you use in yoga. This is the breathing you use in Pilates. This is the breathing you used as a baby. The probability is you will be lightheaded at first because of all that oxygen rushing to your brain. It's good for you. So you need to practice it. You need to do it regularly. And you need to do it probably about 5 to 10 times. If you get lightheaded, stop. Needless to say, please don't do this while operating heavy machinery or a horse. Now let's talk about a horse's breathing, because that's completely different. Or is it? First thing to understand is a horse's windpipe is 5 to 8 centimeters in diameter. That is big. That's like the size of a pint glass, guys. Okay? And it is probably in the neighborhood of 1.5 meters to 2 meters in length, depending on the size of your horse. Dottie's, I can tell you from last year's talks, is 133 centimeters. It's a long way. A horse will take in 5 liters of air per breath, and they breathe 12 times a minute. Overall, that is 60 liters, or for my American friends, 16 gallons of air every minute. The human lung capacity is 6 liters, or for my American friends, 1.25 gallons. The difference is a horse can only breathe through their nose. So therefore, congestion is a very serious problem. When your horse gets cold, you do need to act on it. Their nose gets blocked. They are literally gasping for their life. Now, something that this brings us around to is the broken nose. A horse breaking its nose is a real problem. Mentally, physically, and emotionally, it affects the horse. Trust is permanently lost, and with that person who broke their nose, obviously. And it takes a long time for the horse to come back around trusting people. We have a horse on the yard, as you all know, who had a broken nose. And it's taken us 2 years of the absolute kindest, gentlest love offensive to get her to accept putting on a head collar and bridle. She now does. But in the beginning, she stood up and reared at us constantly from fear because it was so painful and because this had a direct effect on her life. And why am I bringing this up? Now, I'm sure you all have seen the videos this weekend. I'm not going to put them on here. They are very, very upsetting. As we watched a brick thrown at a horse, broke its nose. We saw a bicycle thrown at a horse. We saw a bicycle run into a horse. We saw a horse attacked to such a degree that it spooked, it was injured, and it ended up dumping its rider, who suffered a collapsed lung and broken ribs. We've seen this from the riots. Horses have a very specific job in a riot. The purpose of a horse in a riot is to create a wall and to gently push people back from areas or property under immediate threat. Horses are not there for a cavalry charge. They are not going to charge onto the field such as they did with the Waterloo Massacre in the 1700s. Sorry, 1800s. I know my history. Why do they use horses? Well, horses are used due to their size and their height. They are big. They're the size of Charlie, and they're so sweet and kind. I've met them. And because of their size, they offer police officers a better visual awareness of the situation and what is happening and how the crowds are moving. Attacking a horse is really not a clever idea. You are going to get hurt. These horses are specially trained to keep it together when they're being attacked. They are trained for over a year, and then the very best of those horses are specifically chosen for duty. They are police officers. And so assaulting a police officer, whether it be a human or a horse, has very serious consequences. Sunshine, basically me, because I am Sunshine, but yeah, take it as me, loves and respects all people. We know that minorities have struggled. We know that minorities are still struggling. We support your right to peacefully protest. We would love to see you engage in the political process to make this town, this country, and this world a better place. Sunshine is an open gate to everyone. All we ask is that you love horses and bring your best self here. Yes, I have written this down, basically so I don't cry. We want to see you safe from injury, anxiety, COVID-19, and racism. However, we do not support riots or rioters. We do not support the destruction of property, memorials, or monuments. We do not support the intentional injury to horse and human. A brick in the face does not advance the cause against racism or improve race relations. It creates anger, disgust, and further distrust. It turns people away from any good that could come out of a protest. One of my heroes, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., said a person should not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. A brick says a lot about the content of someone's character when it's in a horse's face. A brick says a lot when it destroys a person's life and livelihood. So right now, let us take a deep breath for us, for our horses, and for our fellow men. Let the oxygen go to our brains and remind us to love one another, respect our differences, and create a world where we can all live positively, happily, and together as brothers and sisters. So I will see you tomorrow for the birthday video for June. And in the meantime, take care, spread the love. Bye-bye now.